Welcome back to Askewed Reviews. And I've been going through the entire Tremors film series, and so today it ends with the 2020 movie Tremors Shrieker Island. Here is your trivia question for today. At the end of the film, it is revealed that what day is Burt Gummer Day? The answer will be at the end of this episode. In this final Tremors film, we meet Bill Davidson, who's part of a company named Avex Biotech. Bill has managed to get his hands on some graboid eggs and had them genetically grown to be put on this island that he owns called Dark Island, where a bunch of billionaires pay to become a hunting party to actually track and hunt down graboids for sport. Now, nearby the island is a research site led by Dr. Jasmine Welker and her team. Now, Welker becomes suspicious of Davidson, so she and her colleague Jimmy decide to check out the island. Once they get there, they discover these graboids and the fact that they've now evolved into shriekers. So Dr. Welker sends Jimmy to go find the expert on graboids, Burt Gummer. Now, since the last time we've seen Burt, he's become a hermit on an island, just wanting to be isolated from everyone. Jimmy does manage to talk Bert into coming back and helping them out. As we discover, there is some sort of past between Bert and Jasmine. Now, once Bert gets himself cleaned up, they head back over to Dark Island, where they soon discover that the graboids have actually been genetically altered, and this has been passed on to the Shriekers as well. So, can Bert, the hunters, and the researchers all manage to work together to stop the Shriekers and the graboids? So, for the third Tremors film in a row, Don Michael Paul is once again the director. The original title for this film was Tremors Island Fury. Michael Gross is the only actor to appear in all 7 Tremors films, 6 of which as Burt Gummer and 1 time as Hiram Gummer in the 4th film. Gross did in fact grow out his beard for this film. He also actually ate that grub. As promotional content for the film, Michael Gross as Burt Gummer made a YouTube video that announced his candidacy for President of the United States in the 2020 election. This movie has the supposed unfortunate passing of Burt Gummer, but Gross has said he would be willing to do an 8th film if it makes sense and it has a good story. And being the fact that you never actually saw Burt's body, you never know. Probably one of the most recognizable new faces to the series is the character of Jimmy, played by John Heater. Jimmy is definitely supposed to be a replacement for the character of Travis Welker, played by Jamie Kennedy in the previous 2 films. Kennedy unfortunately chose not to reprise his role. This time around, they do, however, bring in a new character, Dr. Jasmine Welker, played by Caroline Langrish, who is actually Travis's mother and, of course, a previous love interest for Burt. Another familiar face to people who are fans of horror films is Richard Brake as Bill Davidson. And as I've mentioned in the past 2 videos, with these last 3 Tremors movies, they tend to add in an extra character that seems like a real badass. This time around, it was the character of Freddy, played by Jackie Cruz. I liked how in this last film they decided to add in just this massive queen graboid. It looked pretty cool in my opinion. I was also pleasantly surprised with the new variation on the Shriekers that they had for this film. Their sonic scream ability was also a really interesting new addition. By the way, did you happen to know that Shriekers had actually not been seen in the Tremors film series since the 3rd movie? Also, the Shrieker's vision is identical to the Predator vision from the film Predator. Jimmy even makes an offhanded joke about this. I did find it almost just a little surprising that what is supposed to be the last Tremors movie has no appearance of the Ass Blasters. I would have thought maybe there would have been an end credit sequence where you see one flying off from the island. This movie was entirely filmed in Thailand. So when it comes to the film Tremors Shrieker Island, I do like this movie. I feel that they did a great job of making the Shriekers a credible threat. I also liked the big giant queen graboid as well. I will say though, aside from Bert and Freddy, I didn't really care for much of the good guys in this movie, and some of the bad guys were actually pretty entertaining. But in general, I also feel that the story wasn't all that strong. And there will at least always be some part of me that's saddened if this is the last film that we ever get to see Burt Gummer in. So I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 5. If you enjoyed this film, other movies I recommend checking out are Kong Skull Island, Jurassic Park 3, Predator, and Anaconda. Now it's time for the trivia question from the beginning of this episode. At the end of the film, it is revealed that what day is Burt Gummer Day. So, in celebration and remembrance of the character of Burt Gummer, the official Burt Gummer Day is April 14th. Now, the reason why April 14th was chosen for this day is due to the fact that April 14th is the day before tax day. And since Burt Gummer hated taxes, they felt this would be appropriate. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews. And if there's a movie you'd like to see get a review, just mention it in the comments.